Hi everyone. So I sometimes get questions around manifestation and around negative thoughts and around concerns and anxiety and worry. And one question that's been coming up lately is around what if I have my manifestation already? Or what if I really like the world and the life that I have, but I have constant fear that I'm going to lose the things that I have. Maybe I'm going to lose my job, or I'm going to lose money, or I'm going to lose my car, or my health is not going to stay consistent. So, just something in your life shifting or somehow disappearing from your life. And how does that work regarding manifestation? If I have these fears, does it mean that things are going to just go away? The first thing I want to say is that whenever you have these fears, things in the physical realm do not move very quickly when it comes to negative thoughts. So if you have a fear you're going to lose something, it does not mean that it is going to disappear today or tomorrow or next week. In order to actually make something disappear, you have to be thinking about it constantly for a very long time. And if you have anxiety, you might think, well, I do think about these things constantly and for a long time, but you'd have to be thinking about that subject, that specific one, not just like darting around from subject to subject. And honestly, like in my experience, there are a lot of fears that I have that have never materialized that I have thought about many times. And I have also manifested a lot of things while not feeling that great or not feeling like completely calm. So I would just take that fear off of the table to start. So when it comes to the physical realm, things move slower when it comes to all things, but especially negative things. Now, if you ever watch The Secret, they talk about this and they say that like our negative thoughts have a slower brainwave and therefore are less effective. But the things that I have received from my guides and some best friends of mine who have passed on that I still talk to, is that it's not so much about it's about the waves, if that's the way that we can describe it and we can measure it, then awesome. But it's also really about that when you move on from Earth and you move on to the next realm, that version of reality where people go when they pass on is one where whatever they imagine just automatically shows up. So if they look outside the window and they think about mountains, there'll be mountains. And if they hear the sound of the ocean, there will be an ocean somewhere there. And if they hear the stream of a lake, it'll be there. And if they see green grass and blue sky, it'll all just appear. And all of those things can coexist in one place. And it just happens just like that. And so over there, things manifest almost instantaneously. And what they share with me is that the reason why things manifest instantaneously over there and why you never have to worry about a negative thought while you're there is because it is an easier place to live. The energy there is lighter. And so it's very easy to be in a calmer, peaceful state. And so, of course, when you're there, whatever you think about is going to manifest very quickly and you never have to worry about it. But where we are on Earth is very dense. There's a lot of heaviness to our energy. There's a lot of distortion. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of illusion. And if you didn't believe that then, if you look out in the world now, I think it's pretty clear and obvious that there is a lot of illusion that is having to kind of be moved away. So over here, whenever we manifest, we still have the benefit of positive things manifesting quickly because we are in between these realms. So positive things manifest quickly, just like they do when we pass on and are in a different state where things just poof, we think about it there, poof, we want it, it's there. So we still have that. With some delay, of course, because we also have this density around us that slows things down a little bit. And that density is beneficial to us because that way any negative thoughts that we have are also slowed down and by a very, 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 very large degree. So any fear around that I would take off the table. Now, how to actually take some practical steps when it comes to this so that you can feel like you're in the driver's seat, you can feel like you're in control. And even though you know all these things conceptually about how thoughts work and what manifests and what happens quickly and what happens slowly, even though you know that, how can you really embody a sense of confidence and security in yourself so that you don't have to worry about these thoughts so much? And because you'll have that security in yourself, you won't really have these thoughts as much anyways going forward. Okay. So here's what I recommend. There's a lot of schools of thought when it comes to law of attraction, law of assumption, manifesting, all these different ways of manifesting. And some people like to focus on the end goal or the end desire and not think about the how. And I think all the schools of thoughts are valid. And I think that Not all of them are going to be valid for each person, and not all of them are going to be valid for each person all of the time. So like there might be a few years where that works for you, and then a few years after that where the next thing I'm going to say works for you instead. And then a few years after that you go back to the original way that you started off with, just the end goal. So I just keep that in mind, that this is an ever shifting thing. As you evolve, how you work with the energy and create is also going to evolve. So just keep that in mind. Nothing is like really set in stone. Okay, so if you're wanting to gain more security in yourself and keep all of your manifestations and not have to worry about it, here's what I recommend. So most people focus on the end goal and they don't focus on the how. I think that's totally fine. But what I like to do is I like to think about, okay, this is what I want. I want to be healthier, or I want to maintain my job, or whatever it is. So this is what I ideally want. The fear is very powerful because it makes it very clear what to ask for. What do I want to focus on next? Where does my attention need to be? What is my spirit calling me to focus on? It's there for a reason. So it's saying, I'm worried about my health, or I'm worried about my job. Okay, so number one, recognize that the fear is a powerful gift and blessing because it is giving you a clue on what to focus on next. That's all that it is. If I focus on this, and I release this, I will reap all of these rewards at the end of it. And my spirit is calling me to focus on this for a reason. Okay, so you've decided you want to keep your job or you want to keep your health. Okay, great. So then I think about, if I was the person who kept this job, who would I need to become to be that person? And this is when you can either ask the universe or spirit, or however you communicate, like your guides or higher self, for guidance on that. Personally, I think that for me, some of you, that's going to be the best thing. I'm just saying, personally for me, it works better whenever I'm like assessing myself using what I already know about myself. So for example, it might be like, well, I'm not very consistent when it comes to this, and I know that this is important to management or the company. Or you know what, I know that I lose my temper in this situation. I want to work on that, and if I did that, I'd have more stable relationships and I would be able to maintain my job, or, whatever it is. And then when it comes to health, I'd be like, I do work out very well, but I do always like to have that dessert at the end of the day. So maybe I could cut that down to every other day, or a smaller portion size, or, a healthier version of it. So whatever it is, who do I need to, like, if I was a healthier version of myself, who would I need to become to be that person? If I was somebody who maintained my job or kept this job, who would I need to become to be that person? Maybe you're in a very toxic situation at work, so it really has nothing to do with you, but you really want to keep it for some reason, right? Like while you're looking for something else, right? So it might just be like, okay, like please, I could use more patience. My cat is scratching at the door. Speaking of needing more patience. Scratching at my door, Sammy. So maybe you're in a toxic situation and what you need is to not allow things to impact you. What you need is to create a stronger shield. What you need is to have more patience, like I was saying before. So you basically think about, who is this version of myself that has what I want? And what does that version of myself have? What are those qualities? And what qualities do I have right now? And what qualities do I need to gain in order to get there? Then you manifest, not the end result necessarily, but you manifest, what are those qualities that I need in myself to be the version of myself that has that? And the thing about this is, number one, you will get manifestation significantly faster because you're focusing on the next step. And the next step is a lot easier to mentally conceptualize as being real for you, because it's not this big dream that has all these different facets to it. It's easy for you to see that, and it's just that one step. So you're going to manifest it, and then you manifest the next step, and then the next step. So you're going to constantly get manifestations, which is also going to increase your confidence when it comes to manifesting. And so you'll be able to manifest even more because you're constantly getting manifestations. The other thing is, what was I going to say? One second while I try to remember. Well, the main point of this is that because you are gaining the skills that you need, right? You start becoming the person of you that's very calm and that lets anything roll off their shoulders when they're in a toxic environment while they're looking for something else. Because I will say that if you're in a really bad place and you're not asking for more, the universe will make more happen so that you have better. But basically, so like you're looking for other things while you are letting these things kind of roll off your back. And so you're becoming stronger and more empowered, and you're growing as a person because of it, because you're asking for manifestations that grow you as a person, that make you more of who you actually are, and that give you that security. And then if you start manifesting like, I'm only gonna have a dessert, 3 times a week instead of 7. And then you just naturally start thinking about healthier foods, or you're not really drawn to the desserts as often, you're not having as many cravings, or maybe you get busy in the evenings, or you get a hobby and then you end up going out usually during the time that you would eat your dessert. And so you're not even thinking about it anymore. So different things will happen to build up the skills in you. Now, the reason why this is incredibly important is because once you manifest these skills, these are skills, these are new habits that you are building. And so now you are in the driver's seat. You are now in control because you have now shifted your habits using manifestation in a way that is only going to serve you. These manifestations may come in a variety of different ways. Sometimes you might just automatically, I don't really crave dessert anymore. Boom, done. Sometimes it might be that there is someone that shows up in your life, or maybe even on YouTube, that is eating healthier. And you're just inspired by that, and you love watching their videos. And the more you watch the videos, the more you feel like that person. And the more whenever you go out to the grocery store, you pick out all these healthy things and you're excited about it and it feels really good. And then that starts to become habits that you have in your own life just naturally. It might be that you go out and you're hanging out with a friend and they invite you over to their place and they're always making these really healthy snacks. And so 1, you're not at home eating your dessert, you're with them eating healthy snacks. And 2, you're like, oh, this is really easy. And you just really like the snacks and you start making them for yourself. And that starts becoming your new habit. So the manifestations can come in different ways. It can come through like just automatic shift. It can come through experiences that teach you and get you practice in that way. It can come through mentors that model that positive behavior for you and you're around that constantly. It can be people like angels that come into your life that constantly encourage you in the right way, and it's so consistent, so constant. So the manifestation can come in a variety of different ways. And as you build this, you will be very strong in yourself. You'll be very strong in yourself. You will be formidable. And I have a series on that, how to increase your mental fortitude, which is currently on my YouTube channel. And over time, I will take it down and put it elsewhere. But for now, it's on my YouTube channel. So if you have anxieties about losing things, then it's likely because you don't feel like you could handle it if you did lose it. And so if you build the skills now on being able to keep it, then if it did go away, you'd be able to get it right back again. Like it just takes the worry out of your mind so you never lose it, because you're never going to be in that vibration of worrying about it anymore because you have all the skill sets, right? Like you're formidable. Building up formidability is very, very important. Building up that mental fortitude is very, very important. And this is like the number one way to do that. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you guys so much. If you're interested in working with me more closely and personally, I do have some courses on Udemy that you can access below in terms of how to connect with your own spirit guides and all the different mindset shifts that are maybe mindsets that are out there that are not necessarily serving you, and how to break through them so that you can actually talk to your guides and it's easy. And I also have a course around how to connect to your light worker mission. And then I also will be opening up readings in the near future. I have an Etsy shop I've done thousands of readings, but on Etsy itself, I think I've done 800 readings just on there. And I've got like 200 5-star reviews. So I will leave it here. Thank you so much. And I will catch you in the next one.